All right, people. It's 4 something in the morning, and we finna do another talking Texans. And this ain't a game recap, but discussion of the expectations of the Texans. Um, I know a lot of people are disappointed with the way the season is going, and that's undoubtedly the case across the goddamn board, and everybody should be. But it's still folks out there that's like, okay, this is supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team, and despite how the Texans have been playing this year, I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that. That was never my expectation for the team. You know, unless you just have some shit where your team just sprout out the goddamn blue. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess you can kind of count last year as going in that direction. I wouldn't have Super Bowl aspirations for this team, and I've watched most of the games since the Texans day one, and that has never been the case. Even when they had good teams, they were pretty much capped at a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Even at the even the best years, they were capped at a certain point. It just, it was just somebody there that, smack them down back where they belong. So this has never been a Super Bowl contending team. I think a lot of people should step back with that and be like, okay, you got to do the small things first. A lot of people want to go ahead and be like, okay, yeah, we got the little AFC championships, which, I'm like, I mean, that ain't really saying much. But that's something, you know what I'm saying? That's something you have to grasp along the way. You know what I'm saying? That's something you have to grasp along the way. You can't really look past that. You know what I'm saying? Now, should that be your goal for the season? No. You know what I'm saying? Because you can move along in the playoffs and stuff like that without winning your goddamn division. Depending on how your division is, the way the division is now is, ugh. You only got one goddamn team coming out of the damn division for the most part. Everybody else is pretty poopy. And the Texans, at this point, ain't that much higher than them. But you have to, this is your goal. You got to be better than these 4 teams. These 3 other teams. You got to be better than them. You got to pay them twice a year. So a lot of your strategy and your team building has to go towards being able to be competitive with those teams. That's goal number 1. You know what I'm saying? You could skip that if you already got an established team that's elite already. You know what I'm saying? You can do that, but you can't fucking do that. Like if you're the fucking Patriots or some shit, and they just at the top of their goddamn division for 20 years or whatever the fuck it is or some shit like that. No. Then they kind of look past that because it's a given that they just gonna win it, without much effort. The Texans, no. So that's something they got to get along the way. AFC champions or title or whatever the fuck you want. AFC South champions. I don't think you can call yourself a champion. Just something divided up amongst 4 goddamn teams. That's whatever. But the goal should be multiple playoff victories. You know what I'm saying? You want to get into the playoffs. You want to have that one victory in the playoffs. You know, that would be my goal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that would be my goal. Okay, goal is to get to the playoffs first and foremost, however the fuck we get there, and win that goddamn playoff game. You know what I'm saying? You can set goals beyond that when you achieve that. A lot of times, it's just like a lot of people, you know, it's funny how I'm watching all these analysts and all this other, these talking heads and these podcasts and all this other shit. And they be like, yeah, the Texans, they got this stretch coming. They should win all these games and win these games. And I'm standing there, you can't write these fucking teams off. The Jaguars, you know what I'm saying? The Titans, you can't fucking just write them off. You just can't pencil in a win. What just happened yesterday? The Titans came in here and whooped the Texans' ass on their goddamn home field. You know, that's why you can't write these games off. You know what I'm saying? That you can't write these games. You still got to play them again at the end of the goddamn season. And the way the Texans are playing right now, that game, that ain't going to be a game where you can just, that might not be a game where you just be able to just sit everybody. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to just rest everybody and all that, you know, just, you know, and let that game just do whatever it do. Might not be able to do that. You might be in a position where you have to play that game, you know what I'm saying, like it means something. The expectations are too high for this team. You know, they just are. I don't give a damn who they signed or who they put together. This was a 2-win goddamn team 2 years ago. It was. It was a 2-win team 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Not that much time has gone by. You know, it hasn't. Not that much time has gone by for folks to be acting like they are now, because people now are acting like the Dallas Cowboy fans were acting. You know, you had the Dallas Cowboys 12-4, 12-4, 12-4, and you got motherfuckers complaining like a motherfucker. You got to win a football team. You know what I'm saying? You can expect whatever the fuck you want to expect, but once you get into the playoffs, it's a toss-up. Give a fuck who you are. Patriots didn't win every time they went to the goddamn playoffs. They didn't win all the Super Bowls. They won a bunch of them. A lot more than everybody else. But they didn't win them all. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know that there was a big stretch of them not going to the Super Bowl. It just shows you how much I follow the Patriots. But I was watching a video on them, and they won. And they went to where they actually went to a Super Bowl. I didn't even fucking remember that. You know what I'm saying? They won one or some shit, and it was a good long while before they went fuck back. They had good teams, but it was a good long while. You know, it's just that type of shit. Texas ain't got none of that to fall back on. They've always been a mediocre team, even when they've been good. Because there was always a few other teams that just outclassed them in one way or another. Now, like I said, we got our Houston fans down here or acting like Dallas Cowboy fans. You know, a lot of these Dallas Cowboy fans, I'm just like, bruh, I mean, the last time did y'all are still looking at documentaries and stuff of when that shit happened? You know what I'm saying? You actually look at some of those. That shit happened a while ago. I mean, a lot of times, all of y'all got kids that weren't even born yet. You know, some of the fans themselves weren't even born yet. You know, when the Dallas Cowboys won their championships and all that other shit, the last time they did, if they weren't born yet, they were like little kids. You know what I'm saying? Watching the Dallas Cowboys but not even know what the fuck was going on the field, that type of shit. You know? And yet they here cheering and blah, blah, blah. frustrated at the team because they hadn't won. Well, they hadn't won anything recently. What are your expectations? My thing is have a winning football team. And I mean a winning football team, not this barely over. I done been a Houston fan for long enough, even with the Texans and the Oilers and all that other shit, to where I don't want to see no 9-7 or 9-8. I don't that shit, that's fucking horrible. At some point, you rather just have a losing goddamn season that's going 1 or 2 games over 500. But it's a lot of Texans fans down here acting like that right now. They frustrated with the team. They frustrated with the play, but that's fine. Be frustrated with the play, but don't be acting like the team should be doing more, just based on expectations where you want them to be. Because they not there yet. They not there yet. And there's a bunch of other teams out there that's comparable to the Texans. It all fluctuates. You think they're going to be fucking right up here, but then they not the next year, and then they up here. Yeah, and then they're like, goddamn. It's just fluctuating. They get close, and then they get knocked back down, and blah, blah, blah. But some teams will make it. They'll make it to a Super Bowl. It'll be like Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati, at least they were in a goddamn Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? At least they were in a goddamn Super Bowl. And that's a team that, well, not that particular team, but I mean, Cincinnati is a team that, the Houston Texans have spanked on occasion in the playoffs. But ultimately they've made it further in the playoffs than the Texans have. In somewhat recent history. Cats, why y'all making all that noise? And that's my deal. I sit here and I watch these games, and I don't expect for them to do so like this year. I don't expect for them to do shit this year. They have the potential. You know what I'm saying? They do. They have the potential. But the Texans right now got problems with the intangibles. Not so much the players on the field. It's the intangibles. It's the coaching and stuff like that. It's always something. Sometimes you be like, man, they ain't got no talent. They ain't got no talent. The Texans have talent. I was watching one of the podcasts, and they dug back in their ass and pulled out this old trading deadline shit again. The trade, they didn't do nothing at the trade deadline. You had these problems. And it's the same thing that everybody was pointing out when everybody was bringing up that argument. Who the fuck are they going to get? Ain't nobody out there just willing to give up their goddamn offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Shit, the offensive lineman, good offensive lineman, like I said, they don't just grow on goddamn trees. They probably do. But, I mean, we ain't getting them. Name the goddamn, and like you say, the Texans have probably, they went out. They did the whole thing everybody does. They ain't no different from anybody else. But it's like people they get too caught up. They get too caught up in holding on to their draft capital. Yes, I would fall right into that group. I'm not finna give up all my goddamn draft picks. You know what I'm saying? You gonna give up all your goddamn draft picks to pick somebody up. There was a time for that. You know what I'm saying? There's a time for that. And then it's a time where you pick up somebody, or you might see somebody that might be available, and they asking you for some shit, and you be like, oh, hell no, just no thank you. Which I think probably is what happened with the Texans. I'm like, nah, no. Yeah, we not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Why would you lease off your future? All your draft picks and something like that to so-called make a Super Bowl run where that shouldn't really be the expectation of this team to start with. It shouldn't be. Especially if you only gonna pick up one offensive lineman, where at this point, if you look at the gaping hole in the offensive line, it's 3 people deep. That whole interior has to go. or something has to be done with it. From the right guard all the way to the left guard. You know, the tackles are serviceable at this point. But the guard play right there in the interior of the middle of the line is the problem. You stick one, find you one guy that you done gave up, no telling what you gave up to get him. You stick him in there and think shit gonna be different. It's not. It's not. It's not what's gonna fucking happen. And the people in the front office know that. We find one good guy, stick him in at left guard. Well, what's up with the center? The center position ain't been all that great. Right guard position ain't been all that great. We still got 2 weak spots. You know. What you gonna do now? That's what people are seeming to miss. The team ain't there. The team still has work to do before you start giving them Super Bowl aspirations. Super Bowl aspirations, okay, that's fine, or whatever. But ain't nothing else gonna work until you fix that part, and that's not something that's gonna be fixed this year. And people keep bringing up, we need the receivers and all this other stuff. Look, man, ain't nothing wrong with our goddamn receivers. It's wrong with people's expectations. It's your expectations is what's disappointing you more than anything else. Because a lot of stuff I'm seeing is just like, okay, you want to say the receivers ain't getting open, the receivers ain't doing this, and the receivers ain't doing that, and still you gonna blame CJ Stroud for being inaccurate, throwing balls in the dirt, and not being, throwing interceptions and all this other stuff, and then then that falls back to the offensive line where he ain't got no pressure. He'd have been sacked all these goddamn times and all this other shit. You see the trickle down effect of that shit? CJ can't do his job if the offensive line don't do theirs. And at the end of that is the fucking receivers. If ain't none of that shit working, the receivers just gonna be running around out there for goddamn nothing. They not finna get no balls. They not finna get no targets, nothing. And then one thing is pissing me off with people I can't even say I don't know why I always do that. Expectations is that, at least from what I see, like I said, I'm blind. So, it's a lot of stuff that I miss. There's a lot of stuff that I actually fucking see. And they'll be like, yeah, Tank Dell had another drop. He dropped this ball here. He had another drop. And I'm just like today, they'd be like, Tank Dell had a drop. Now, I remember, was it this game or the last game? I don't even remember. Shit started to just blend in together. I know he had a drop. Ball kind of just right there, and he just, whatever. That shit happens. But I know the one play in this last game, Tennessee, everybody say, yeah, the ball hit him in his hands. He should have. That ball was that was a defended pass play, man. You gonna count that as a drop? Little Tank Dell, little 150-pound, whatever the fuck he is, he caught the ball. Boom, ball hit him in his hands like this, and there was a fucking gap right there. Bop, hit the fucking ball out of his hands. That's a defended pass, and you go, man, you got to come down with that. Bitch, shut the fuck up. You shut your sitting in front of your camera, no athletic ass up. You wouldn't have even came close to even having the ball thrown in your goddamn direction. And I hate when they say that shit, because a lot of people say that shit. Even some of the when you walk with the commentators and shit, like the ex-receivers, you got to come down with that. Bitch, you didn't come down when all the passes came your way. You gonna sit there in the goddamn press box in your suit talking about, yeah, that ball hit you in the hands, you got to catch it. Fuck you. You didn't catch every goddamn ball. You know what I'm saying? I guess you got to catch every ball. You soon as your goddamn hand touch the goddamn ball, there's a motherfucker right there, boom, either pulling on your arm or knocking a ball out your hand. That's what the fuck he's supposed to do. It's a defended pass. You can't really fault the motherfucker for that. You know what I'm saying? You can't fault the receiver for a defended pass. That's what the fuck he's supposed to do. And then it's the smallest guy on the goddamn field. Now, if that ball hit Nico Collins in the hands like that, he probably strong enough to hold on to it. Just that type of shit, because they do that all the time. Man, he should have caught. He should have caught that. He should have caught that. Yeah, he could have caught that. Should have is not no. Like there was a couple of games ago where C.J. Stroud threw a ball in the end zone, and fucking Tank Dell had to come across, try to catch the ball. Just, fucking dive and catch, man. A dive and catch. Yeah, that was a drop. You should have caught that. I mean, the goddamn dive and catches you expect a motherfucker to make. A dive and catch like this motherfucker's laid out fucking vertical, horizontal and shit, trying to catch the goddamn ball on the move. It was a goddamn low percentage ass catch. And you're like, he should have caught that. He dropped. That was a drop. He dropping balls. You wouldn't be able to get yourself in a position to even attempt to catch that. The fuck are you talking about? I was a receiver. I was a tight end. I wouldn't even. I ain't never had to make no diving ass catch like that. Which is something else that's irritating the fuck out of me when it comes to the Texans, is when they start talking about the accuracy and stuff of C.J. Stroud. Is where he's getting the ball to these receivers. I seriously doubt that all these passes be going in the dirt. All these passes be going in the dirt on in practice. You know what I'm saying? I seriously doubt that. I don't see in practice you got your receivers diving around on the ground trying to catch balls. As like a routine thing. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't see that. And it's a lot of stuff just, I'm like, dude, just ball up. The dude is right there, throw the ball, we can fucking catch it. Why the fucking ball is going like straight down to fucking his ankles and shit? Now, I know that a lot of times that's where you throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? I am fully aware that sometimes that is where you throw the goddamn ball. You need to get a ball in the hole or some shit like that. That's the only place you can throw the ball, other than hiding away. Just throw the ball down where the receiver got to go down and catch the ball. But that shit be happening right at times where the only thing you had to do is just like pick the ball up and then, give it to him waist high or something so he can catch the ball and keep on going instead of just having to roll on the goddamn ground. And now every time the motherfucker catch the ball, they got to fucking review the goddamn play to make sure the ball wasn't on the goddamn ground first. That's what happened to Hutchinson, and that's what happened to Nico recently. Had those plays called back because fucking ball hit the ground right in front of, right as they was catching it and shit. And just like, come on, man. Now that shit pisses me off. That pisses me off. Like I said, I ain't played quarterback, so I can't say that. I've had an arm, I can throw. I know how throwing a ball it works. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how throwing the ball under duress. Why I always do that? I'm not quoting nobody. Under duress works. This is a point of emphasis, not quotes. Anyway, maybe I should do that. The single finger. I think I do the single fingers. That should be. I don't know, man. But that goes into my expectations. Now, I expect for shit like that. I'm just like, but I don't, like I said, I don't know what all goes into that. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had to do that. you throw the ball, you got to make that decision of where you're going to throw the ball, because you have to think about all kind of shit. It's just like a lot of times I don't know what the quarterback sees, and they like when they go out to the outlet, they get ready to throw the ball to the outlet dude, like you boom, throw it to the outlet, like you don't see somebody just beelining towards your goddamn out. That dude finna get fucked off as soon as he catch that goddamn ball, and he not finna get no game. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that? I'm a kind of a squeamish person, and I will get paralysis analysis as a quarterback, knowing that I have to throw the ball that's going to put my receiver in a position to get smashed, because that would actually keep me from throwing it. It would. It would keep me from fucking throwing it. But like, oh, there you go. Whoop. Yeah, you didn't see that linebacker just, oh. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. I'm just like, man. I'd be like, nah, he ain't gonna make it. Next thing I know, I'm the one getting sacked and smashed in the goddamn shit. I ain't throwing the goddamn ball. Some shit you just can't think about, I guess. Which is why, you know what I'm saying, it's hard for me to fault the quarterback on a lot of stuff, but just the accuracy part, I just like, I'm like, all you do is throw that goddamn ball. When it should be accurate. You know what I'm saying? When you get into your receivers, you shouldn't be throwing balls all in the goddamn dirt. The receivers shouldn't have to roll around on the goddamn ground to catch the goddamn ball, or have to dive and make all these weird ass goddamn catches and shit like that. Shouldn't. It just shouldn't. Because I watch a lot of other goddamn football. I watch a lot of other football, and I don't see that. I don't. You'll see balls thrown in the dirt. You see diving catches. Not as often as you would see with the Texans and shit like that. Or having a needle a ball right. You know what I'm saying? You have to needle a ball right there, where every time you throw an out route, there's always some little toe tap shit. Like it wasn't nothing else. Nothing else you can do. Everything got to be a toe tap pass right on. It's either a toe tap pass where you gotta review the shit to make sure the motherfucker got his feet on the goddamn end line, out of bounds, or a review to make sure that he caught the ball before it went in before it touched the goddamn turf. Too often. Other teams don't have to do that shit. You throw the ball, the goddamn receiver gets the ball right here. Bloop. You know what I'm saying? Or you throw it to the outlet, whoop, boop, outlet man get lit up as soon as he goddamn touched the goddamn ball. Because they see that shit coming. Just, I don't know. My expectations for the team is not that high. You know what I'm saying? It's not that high. But I do realize that any game that they play, they have the potential to win. I don't see them just being just straight outclassed. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them having a Minnesota game. Yeah, even if they was to play Minnesota again, it wouldn't that would not be the outcome. You know what I'm saying? The game that game, even the way the Texans are playing now, that wouldn't be the same outcome. That shit wouldn't happen again. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. And they got fucked off in that goddamn game. But if they play Minnesota again, that wouldn't be the case. You know, they just wouldn't. And that's what you can give. That's what you can take with the Texans this year. You know what I'm saying? You could take that with the Texans this year, taking it, okay, this is our problem this year. Excuse me. This is the problem this year. We have an offensive line issue. That's it. That is it. You can leave everything on the Texans as is. We have an offensive line issue. That will be, this ain't no far-fetched shit right here. That will be the focus this coming off season. At some point, they're going to, with a lot of, some of these people that's here now is not going to be here. There's going to be some new offensive linemen up in here. And the offensive line players is going to have to, they're going to make some moves. Now, whether this shit improve or not is, you won't know that until the actual season starts. What, Cat? You won't know that until the actual season starts. So, the next season starts. Because the offensive line was supposed to have been better this year. Because last year, it was all kind of people on the goddamn, they had a different goddamn offensive line every goddamn game. And it was better than what they got now. And these are the same guys that have been out there. Other than Kenyon. You got hurt. They're just... No. So, I mean... And then you can build your expectations on that. But even then, the expectations shouldn't be that much different. You know what I'm saying? Because the Texans hadn't done anything. You got to let them do shit first before you start expecting them to do certain things. They haven't been in the AFC Championship game. At least I don't think they have. So don't be expecting the shit until they get there. You got there, and you might not have, you might got capped off at that point. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have won it, made it to the Super Bowl. Then, okay, you got the same type of team or whatever the fuck, you can expect certain shit. Don't be expecting shit that they hadn't done. And they hadn't shown that they can do that. So don't expect it. Expect for them to be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? That opens the door for every fucking thing else. Expect for them to be a playoff team. That's what you should be happy with at this point. A playoff team. That means you have a chance. You know what I'm saying? You have a chance. Don't be acting like spoiled fans. You spoiled when you ain't had shit. That would make sense. Are you spoiled and you ain't had shit? You know what I'm saying? You be spoiled when you've had shit and then it's taken away or something like that or something. Don't be spoiled when you ain't had shit. Because I'm sitting here right up top of my head just kind of remembering some of the Texans playoff losses. Yeah, you remember some of the games that they won, but some of the playoff losses, and I'm just like, if they get in and win a playoff game, I'm happy. I'm happy. The little money I paid on Hulu to watch them, I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they just fuck off the goddamn season, you know what I'm saying? If there was a fuck off a season and don't make the playoffs, then, well, which... I've watched the last few years before now, so yeah, I've been there. But I didn't expect nothing from those teams. You didn't expect nothing from Lovie Smith's team. The team sucked. Even before then, with the David Culley gum chewing dude and just whatever. Did I expect anything from that? No. Nah, they had some good games. You know what I'm saying? But they had some setbacks, and I don't think nobody liked the coach. That's why he was one and done. As far as what I remember. I mean, shit, that team wasn't together long enough for me to have no expectations. And the Lovie Smith team, that team was so garbage. Well, the coaching of that team was so garbage. The players on that team weren't all that bad. Even though people keep saying there wasn't no talent on that roster, it was talent on that roster because people left that roster and went and was productive elsewhere. The coaching of that team was dookie. I watched that goddamn season. Yeah, the coaching of that team was straight ass. That's why they didn't hardly win shit. I didn't have no expectations for that. Then you get fucking D'Amico in here. They have a decent year. They go to the playoffs. They win a division, make playoffs, win a playoff game. And everybody like, they going to the Super Bowl. No, they're not. They're not going to the Super Bowl. More likely, they not. You know what I'm saying? More likely, they not. But you have to, that's everybody get super excited. Everybody gets super excited. Going to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl team. You know what I'm saying? Signing goddamn Diggs and all kind of shit or whatever the hell else they did. And you be like, oh shit. It's on. Texas get ready to do it. No, they not. Just calm your fucking horses. You know what I'm saying? Calm your fucking horses. We gotta go through this shit game by game. Calm your goddamn expectations. You know what I'm saying? You expect all this shit and then you get disappointed. You get the shit like you lose to the goddamn Titans. Now we got Jacksonville coming up next week. Same goddamn scenario. They supposedly suck. Well, you know what? We played against two teams that supposedly suck this year. We played against the Jets. Supposedly suck. Texans lost. Played to the Titans. Supposedly suck. Texans lost. Now you got Jaguars coming in here, supposedly suck. We're not coming in here, we going to them. But what's going to happen with that? Don't nobody know. Nobody knows. At this point, the way the Texans be playing, don't nobody know what they about to do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody be like, they should win. They could win. You don't know. I mean, you never know either way. But now, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like if the Texans go in there and they lay another stinker. It's going to be like that. Well, that's what I expected. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to be shocked at that point. If they go in and they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, nobody is going to be nobody's going to be surprised by that. They not. At this point, they not. Now, should they? They shouldn't. They really shouldn't. They should go in and the results should look like the results of the Dallas Cowboys game. You know what I'm saying? That's what the results should look like. Not the game itself, because that game was a lot closer, a lot longer than people would expect for a 34-10 game to be. You know what I'm saying? I think they didn't pull off until a little bit later. But still, that's what the results should look like. That's what the results should have looked like for this Tennessee Titan game as well. But it didn't. I watched this game and I was like, the Tennessee Titans looked like they playing football today. You know what I'm saying? While the Tennessee Titans was fucking up, you know what I'm saying? Like you would expect for a subpar team to do. Well, you know what? The Texans were doing the same. You know what I'm saying? They was fucking up just as much as the goddamn Titans were. And at this point, that's what you expect. That's why all the Texans games have looked the same, aside from 3 this year. Minnesota, where they got their ass whooped thoroughly. And then you got New England, where they whooped their ass thoroughly. And then you got Dallas, where they whooped their ass thoroughly. All the rest, other than those 3 games, all their games have been a carbon copy, win or lose. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You look at the scores, it's a fucking carbon copy. It's the same fucking thing. All of them one score games could go either way. So they not this much better, that much worse than all the teams that they done played. They not. You know what I'm saying? There's no separation there. You know what I'm saying? Between the competition. And it don't matter how good the defense, it's just what the defense has these astronomical ass games. It's just fucking ridiculous. And as a team, they still find a way to lose. Because the offense itself just can't hold any kind of consistent ball movement. Ball movement. You know what I'm saying? They can't. You know, like the Detroit Lions, you know, fucking five interceptions, man, and you find a way to lose that game. This game right here, you sack a motherfucker 8 times, you find a way to lose that game. Plus, you know, you had a scoring TD in this game. I mean, a defensive touchdown in this game with a pick 6. And still, you find a way to lose the game. You find a way to lose the game. And most of it is because of the offense. Now, when it comes to this offensive thing, the defense, I'm just like, whatever. The defense does what it does. They give up those big, long-ass plays every so often. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? That don't make up for the fact that the offense just does shit, especially in the second half. And that's another thing. Other than the offensive line, they got to address that shit. In the middle of the season, are you going to fire your offensive coordinator or demote him or whatever the fuck? Get a play calling to somebody else? You probably should. You know what I'm saying? You probably should. Because ain't nothing changed in that regard. Ain't nothing changed in that regard. It's just like, and it's one of them things where, okay, you got an offensive coordinator. He's the play caller. This is what he does. You know what I'm saying? This is his offense. And he's out there. And they got all this shit. All these people got all these big fucking goddamn Waffle House menus with all this shit on it. They walking around, they talking, they got the headphones, everybody doing this shit. You got you got people up in the press boxes looking down on the field, telling you what they see and all this other kind of shit. And the Texans can't pull nothing out of their ass but the same old shit every week. The same results. I'm like, what are y'all doing? What's all this talking I'm seeing going on? What information is being sent back and forth? What's actually happening? What's going on with this communication to where there's no improvement from your previous state of whatever else you was doing earlier in the game? What is it? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is it? Why the hell are you steady running the ball up the middle of the goddamn line when you got this big 370-pound dude sitting right there in the middle of the goddamn line that can't nobody move? Why are we still running Joe Mixon slow ass right up in there? You know what I'm saying? This man, that shit is clogged up. That shit is off limits. Why are we still running the ball there? I don't know. That type of shit. Why are we still running past? Why haven't we got the short pass plays down? Everybody else does it. But we can't seem to get that right. Everybody else get up there 1, 2, 1, 2, what? We get back there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, why? You know, why is that? You know what I'm saying? You keep worried about it. Just somebody else said this shit too. It's just like, you know, you get in and you got this pressure that's coming in on CJ. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, he has more than enough time where he should have been found somebody and threw the ball. Sometimes it's just like, you know, he in the pocket collapsing, and he's like, ain't nothing there for whatever the reason. Or they'll do a rollout or some shit like that, and he end up rolling out into a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's just shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. You're a rollout pass, which is weird because they did one rollout pass. I don't even remember if this was this week or last week that they got the Tank Dell. But that shit don't happen that often. And that's the type of shit that should happen all the time when you have a rollout pass and CJ is just, he got, you know, you roll out, he just out there in the open, he got all the time. Ain't shit. How is it ain't shit? You know what I'm saying? Why is it ain't shit? Why can't you find nothing? It's like when this shit puzzles me, man. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What are you doing? They fucking off. That's what they doing. That's what they doing. They fucking off, man. Shit. And you try to make sense of this shit, but a lot of shit just don't make sense. It's one of the main reasons why, you know, when you watch a game like this with the Texans, and I don't want, like, if the Texans win, I usually watch all the football. You know what I'm saying? I usually watch all the football. I didn't watch, I fell asleep. I was tired. My hours are off. So after the Texans game, I did my little video, and I probably had a game on and fucking went to sleep on it. And even the Sunday night game, the Eagles and the Rams, I don't know what the fuck happened with that game. The game was on, and next thing I know, I didn't have no interest in watching it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, because, you know, when the Texans lose, you watch everybody else play. And you watch everybody else do what the Texans seem to can't do. Even the teams that lose. I'm like, why the Texans can't do that? That shit worked for them. It's just like, I'm not a fade route guy. I'm not a fucking fade route person. It's just that it just seems like a weird ass go-to to me. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got like a fucking Fitzgerald or Calvin Johnson or one of them type of receivers that you doing it to, and they don't. Texas don't have one of those. We got Nico Collins, but he ain't that type of receiver. And he might be, but they don't use him like that. They don't throw fade routes to fucking Nico Collins. Everybody else throw fade routes to their receivers. You know what I'm saying? All over the field. Not just in the end zone or some shit. It just, you know, throw that bitch up there and let the receiver do the work. Texas don't do that. A little quick passing game, blah, blah, blah. Even some of the screenplays, most of the Texas screenplays don't work. I watch other teams, yeah, they shit goes off without a hitch. You know? That puts things in perspective. When you go watch these other teams, you watch the other games, especially after you've just watched your team just fuck off, and then you watch the other goddamn games, and you know, it's just like you know, if you don't give a fuck about who playing, you know what I'm saying, you just kind of going for whoever got the ball at the time, and you just watching the offenses, and it's just like, well, why they offense is moving, but the rest of these the Texans can't do this. It's just, okay, I mean, you need to take the offensive staff and have them watch some NFL football. Get out the fucking bubble. You know what I'm saying? Get out the bubble. Go watch some goddamn games and see what the other teams are doing and see what's working and compare it to what the fuck you doing. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Do it. See what the hell they doing. Because obviously they shit working and yours ain't. You could take some off a crappy ass team and be like, I like that. I can implement that. I got something that I can modify in my playbook to come up with that same effect. You got to be able to do that. You know, but Texans don't. As far as I can tell, they don't. That's why it's the same thing. And it's funny. I like when I do these videos like this, and I come up after the game so I can have my own thoughts. I'm not bouncing off of nobody else shit or nothing like that. Like today, when I started my little game recap, game was still on. You know what I'm saying? The game was still on. So I ain't hear nobody else shit, no post game, nobody else's podcast, no nothing. I ain't listening to no goddamn, just none of that. Straight to my thoughts. And you know I ramble on these goddamn videos. My videos be by at least an hour long or some shit like that. And it's like everybody, and then when I do afterwards, you know what I'm saying? You know, later on in the evening or whatever, I go and I'll look at the podcast and wherever the fuck after people done, you know, got on and uploaded their shit and all this other stuff, and I'll go watch it and watch about 3 or 4 different ones. They all say the same thing. I'm an amateur over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm an amateur over here. I don't follow these teams. I'm not in the practice facility every goddamn day. I'm not in the little post room after the game asking the coaches questions and shit. I don't talk to the players. I don't do none of that shit. I'm just some regular ass dude sitting here talking to my fucking phone. Ain't nobody said shit that I hadn't said in my videos. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Now, there's some stuff that, you know, that might have ran across my mind because I don't script this shit. So there's some stuff that might have ran across my mind that I don't say in my videos, but it ain't nothing that I missed. I'm not saying this like I'm some football genius or something. I'm saying this is because I can see all this bullshit. If everybody else sees this bullshit that's going on the Texans field during these games, well, why can't the coaches? And if the coaches do see it, why can't they do anything about it? If I see it and I'm blind, look at this shit. You see this? I'm blind. So if I can see this shit, and this is coming from somebody when they kick a field goal or throw a pass, I can't see the ball on the screen. My eye just go wherever the goddamn camera just happen to be on the goddamn field. And I can still see all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I can still see all the bullshit. If I can see it, and then everybody else seeing the same shit that I saw, to where, okay, I said some shit, everybody else is saying the same goddamn thing, and then what are the coaches seeing? Because you are there in the game. You know what I'm saying? You in the game. You are making these goddamn decisions. And then after the game, you got to analyze that game before you move on to the next. And that's what's frustrating people. It's because everybody sees the same thing. Everybody been bitching and moaning about the same shit all season fucking long. The same shit. Everybody been bitching and moaning about the same shit all season long. Professional and amateur alike. It ain't seemed to been much done about it. And it might not be much we can do about it. Because even though we bitch and we moan and we blah, 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 ain't none of us, you know, even the professionals are only privy to so much information, even if they there on site, you know, at practice or any of the other shit. There's only so much because you know NFL coaches and players are going to keep shit in-house. And so whatever they going to do, whatever they thinking, whatever this, they not finna tell you shit. That's why I'm like, why even have the goddamn the press conferences? They're pointless. It's a waste of fucking time. And it's a as far as I'm concerned, that it's a fucking I'm trying to think of the goddamn word. Humiliation and humility come up to mind, but I don't know how to use those words to describe what the fuck I'm finna say. Because as far as I'm watching the Texans, it's just a bunch of sword falling. You know what I'm saying? It's, yeah, well, I got to do better. We got to play better. We got to do this. It's the same shit every fucking week. You're not finna get no information out of them. You know what I'm saying? You're not finna get no information. You go up there and you ask the questions, and then you disappointed with the goddamn answers you get, knowing that they're not finna tell you nothing to start with. Especially from the coaches. The coaches are, I don't know who the fuck, I don't know what kind of training program they got to go through, but they gonna go up there, they gonna say a bunch of generic ass shit that don't answer nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna answer nothing. You ask them about, football, they tell you about the price of oil in Africa. Fuck they got to do with it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, shit. Why the fuck are we here? You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck are we here? They not gonna tell you shit. You know they not gonna tell you. There ain't nobody for the, why would they? You know what I'm saying? Why would they just go out there and air all their dirty laundry or they clean laundry? You know what I'm saying? Just no. Catch y'all going outside. Why would you do that? Go up there, you blah blah blah, you tell you answer. It's not even, the answer is not even correct term. You reply. That's what you do. You reply. They ask you a question, you reply to that, and you move on to the next. And people are steady, and it gets me when folks say, well, they're not gonna tell you nothing and blah 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 blah. You know what they gonna say when or when you ask these questions, but yet and still they still upset when they ask these questions and they don't get an answer. When that's what you finna fucking get, then why the fuck are you upset? What are you expecting? You already know what you gonna get. Why are you expecting anything the fuck else than what the fuck you get? You know what I'm saying? They not finna tell you nothing. They forced to go up there. They not going up there because they want to. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you get some goddamn wordsmith up there or somebody that just don't give a fuck, they can use that shit. You know what I'm saying? They can use it. But with the staff we got now, nah, ain't for the fucking happen. You gonna ask D'Amico Ryan some goddamn questions about the offense and shit. He don't know what the fuck. He don't. D'Amico Ryan don't know shit about the goddamn offense. You know what? Because if he did, the offense wouldn't be doing what the fuck it's doing now. And I don't know how much input he got over there. He the fucking head coach. If he want to keep his goddamn job, you know what I'm saying, for any lengthy amount of goddamn time, he gonna have to make some goddamn hard decisions about who he gonna keep on his staff. Because it's a stark contrast between the shit that he's in charge of and the other side of the goddamn ball. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else said this, they're like, okay, when shit happens and some adjustments need to be made with D'Amico Ryan's defenses, adjustments are made and shit changes. Doesn't happen like that on offense. It just fucking doesn't. Think he's aware of that? I think D'Amico Ryans is fairly aware of that. I think D'Amico Ryans is a point right now where he's kind of handcuffed with that. It ain't shit he can do about it. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't really nothing he can do about it. Now, what conversations is he having with motherfuckers off camera in the facility? I have no idea. I don't know D'Amico. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know what I'm saying? I ain't like it. It ain't like some of these other folks that might be at practice or might be, get to talk to him or some shit like that. I don't know what this man's personality is like. It ain't like mine. Tell you that right now. It ain't like mine. Because me and Bobby would have had a conversation and some shit would have been changed by now. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn if I did bring you along with me from San Francisco. Bruh, you are not getting the job done. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting the job done. And you have to tell them that, because it's just like, okay, I might not be the one to let you go. You know what I'm saying? I might not be the one to be like, okay, we need to do this, do that, and blah, blah, blah. That shit might come from upstairs where we like, okay, he got to get out of here. Then you got to go fucking go. You might need to tell that motherfucker that, some shit like that, just for his own good. And like I said, I might not be the one to let you go, but it's going to be you before me. So that's how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? If that decision is coming from upstairs, the OC is going before D'Amico. D'Amico ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But they will dismiss motherfuckers around him, because that's where the problem is. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no problems with the special teams. Ain't no problems with the defense. The problems we're having are with the offense. Mostly surrounded around the offensive line. I'm thinking if the offensive line was anywhere close to adequate, we wouldn't be having these conversations at all. But, like I say, it's one of them things. It's a trickle-down effect. A lot of people say that, he calls the offense like he don't have an offense, like he don't have a offensive line problem. And I see that. That's one thing I was just saying a minute ago about these dropbacks. You know what I'm saying? Why does it ain't the fact that CJ is holding on to the ball too long. Well, that's what the play requires. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just holding on to the ball just because. He's holding on to the ball like that because that was the play that was called. Why? I have no goddamn idea. I don't. I have no idea why. You know what I'm saying? It just... And when you see that, this is what we've been dealing with all year. You expect it. You expect it. That's why you don't get excited when the Texans take the lead. The Texans get a lead in the game. Only thing you do is just, yeah, we just gonna have to wait till the game over with. I'm not finna get myself up for this. You know what I'm saying? You be happy at the moment that they was able to make whatever move they made, but you ain't finna get just super excited about that shit till the game is over. And you see the result. Because with Texans, you just don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? You just don't. Anything can happen, but shit, the odds of them fucking off shit is just high for whatever reason. It is, man. That's why I say, y'all just, folks need to just temper your expectations, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a Super Bowl team. You know what I'm saying? They weren't last year. They not this year. This is a rebuild in progress. You know what I'm saying? It's a rebuild where you didn't have to build from all the way from scratch. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to pour foundation and all this other shit. Some of that shit was already there. You just had to start from right here. And then, just build shit up going from there. And then move faster than expected. But don't expect for you to have this just magnificent ass franchise skipping steps. You know what I'm saying? We got the first step down. Playoff team, win your goddamn division. We got, that's step one. Step two is making it to the championship game, AFC championship game, winning another playoff game other than the opening week or whatever the fuck, that type of shit. You got to move up from there. Don't be expecting a goddamn Super Bowl contending team when your team ain't never even been close to one. You know what I'm saying? You just don't. Don't expect that. You can want it, but just don't expect it. Because, it ain't, first of all, it ain't fair to the players. And a lot of the players going to be like, win the Super Bowl. The players are stupid. You know what I'm saying? A lot of players don't have a realistic grasp on what the fuck, is going on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody say, everybody's goal is to win a Super Bowl. You know what? Everybody's goal shouldn't be just to win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That's real stupid to say that, because it's not true. There's teams out there that have no chance in winning the Super Bowl. They got goals. You know what I'm saying? They got goals and ambitions just about everybody else. It ain't to win the Super Bowl. It's to improve the team. So they can work their way up to thinking that, okay, within however many seasons or years that we can be on that level to compete for one. You want to be able to compete for one. That means you got to be a consistent playoff team. Now you got a chance. Like I said, you want to give your chance. You want to give yourself a chance at competing for that every year. Cat, if you don't stop. You want to give yourself that chance. That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get to the point where you've taken advantage of that chance, that means you've won your division, or you've made it to the playoff game and you done won a little playoff game, and then the next step can be made. Let's win this next playoff game and see if we can make it to the AFC championship game. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody thinking about no Super Bowl right now. You got to get past that first. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no use in worrying about that shit with the Texans now, because you don't know what the fuck you going to do from week to week during the regular season. You don't know if you're going to beat a good team or lose to a fucking horrible team. You don't know. So what's going to happen when you just surrounded by nothing but good teams? And we still got all the same problems that we have now that can't be addressed until the offseason come along. What is it? See? That's what I'm talking about. It's just the steps of this shit. Now, I'm going to watch the rest of these goddamn games, hopefully. And I'm going to hope that the Texans can pull through. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hope that they can beat the Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that the Texans can go 6-1, 5-1. Well, I don't know how many goddamn games they got in the goddamn division. You play everything for us. I would like for the season to end. Like right now, I would like for the season to end. And I'm not even thinking about the playoffs right now. I would like for the season to end with the Texans having only this Tennessee loss be the only loss in the division. That's it. Not think about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about nothing, because at that point they already in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Why they got Miami, I don't know what they expect from Miami. I really don't. I don't follow Miami enough to know what the fuck they can and can't do. But I do know that's a game that they can fucking lose. And then with Baltimore and Kansas City coming, it's just that can go either fucking way. You know what I'm saying? That can go either goddamn way. Because I've seen Baltimore lose. You know what I'm saying? And will I be worried about Derrick Henry? When it comes, I've seen D'Amico Ryans shut Derrick Henry the fuck down. Now that was on a different team, but still, I know he has a strategy for Derrick Henry. You know, you get him before he get downfield. That's not, you know, that's how you do it. You get him before he get downhill, and then next thing you know, he ain't much threat to you. Now with Lamar, they can fuck off Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Depends on how disciplined they are on offense. I mean on defense. You can. You just gotta work that contain. And you gotta keep somebody on them to make sure that motherfuckers ain't rushing way up the field past the goddamn pocket and shit on the outsides and all kind of shit like that. That type of shit, you know, your little rushing lanes and all that stuff, you got to stay disciplined when it comes to that stuff. And make sure that he roll out that, okay, if he roll out, make sure that he have to throw the goddamn ball, that he don't take off running up the fucking field. You know, I think they have a decent, like I said, I've seen them lose this year. So, yeah, I don't think that they're, you know, undefeatable. But they're not. You know, if you just look at their record, they're not. But they are a threat. And Kansas City is the same way. Kansas City just eked by. Kansas City is kind of like where the Texans are, except for they just happen to win their games. Not much different. They just happen to win their games instead of losing like the Texans did. All those close ass, barely winning ass games that they had, the Texans had those same games, except for they've fallen on either side of the fence. So they not much different. They barely, I didn't even see that game, but supposedly they barely beat the Carolina Panthers. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, so you play against them, it's just, you could beat them. Texans have played the Chiefs pretty goddamn good over the years. Other than that goddamn playoff loss where they was up 27-0 or 20 something. It was some shit and they ended up fucking losing that game. I ended up watching that game. Oh man, that was bad. That was extremely horrible. Even a couple of years ago, Lovie Smith was here. That horrible ass team damn near beat the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Was that a Super Bowl year for them? I don't know. But yeah, they damn near beat the Chiefs. So yeah, they play the Chiefs pretty goddamn well. And this year, you know what I'm saying, I would. What did they play the Chiefs? I don't know. If it's one of them fucked up weather games, I have no idea. I don't. If it's one of them bad weather games, you know, if they go up there and it's fucking snowing and all kind of weird ass shit, I'm not gonna know what the fuck they expect. I'm not gonna know what the hell they expect. Oh man. But they do have a chance. That's my whole thing with that. They have the ability to play with everybody. They also have the ability to just shit the field. You know, they do. They have the ability to shit the field in some extraordinary ass ways too. It's not like you just lose and shit like that. It's just like they find a way to lose in ways that you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you're okay, you done had all this shit happen. And I already mentioned this shit twice about all the sacks and all the interceptions and shit like that. I mean, you have all this shit. You have all this shit. your defense then did some extraordinary ass shit during the game that don't usually happen. You still find a way to fucking lose. That type of stuff. And you know what? The Texans could come back next year, fix their offensive line problems, find a way to right that boat or whatever the fuck, and probably never get no defensive performances like they got this year. None of the feats that they accomplished on defense this year is like could just go all next year without happening. Without happening at all. The fuck you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? But you don't need that stuff to win football games. Your defense can do just fine without it. Oh, how many times you gonna get 5 interceptions in the goddamn game? You know what I'm saying? How many times are you gonna sack somebody 8, 9 times in the goddamn game? You know what I'm saying? That shit happens. It's not routine. Just all kind of weird ass shit like that. Just wasted. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's a wasted performance. The defense go out there and do some extraordinary ass shit, and that shit gets looked over. It gets looked over when you lose the game. If you win the game, that goes down into some shit that, that people will bring up after the season and shit like that. And you lose the goddamn game, motherfuckers don't forget about that shit. 5 interceptions. Who had 5 interceptions in the game? I don't know. You have 5 interceptions in the game and you beat the goddamn Lions. Yeah, they gonna be talking about that shit for a good long while. You have 5 interceptions in the game and you lose to the goddamn Lions. They're going to talk about that shit for the next couple of days, and then ain't nobody going to be thinking about that shit after that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that shit. Wasted performances. Hey, Cat, look, I'm going to need y'all to be still. Okay? Thank you very much. Look, kittens, they have no respect. Just noisy. But that's it for my Houston Texans tempered expectations, because ain't no use to, like I said, ain't no use to expecting for them to be a team up here on this goddamn level when they a team that's on this goddamn level right here. You know what I'm saying? Just they here. They're right the fuck here. It's probably where they supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's probably where they supposed to be. They're not supposed to be way the fuck up here. Because if they were supposed to be way the fuck up here, they would be. But they not. They down here. So keep your expectations right around here. At least, so they have something to look forward to, aspire to. So that's it. Till the next one, people.